Alright, it's day 16. It is 7 in the morning. I meant to get this video out yesterday, but I made the mistake of laying down when I was tired and I fell asleep. So it's coming out a day late. So I might get another video out tonight. I don't know. I'm not gonna think about it too much because I'm trying to focus on the present. So let me talk about day 16. So, and I'm also recording straight from the tablet today because why not? I don't know why I haven't before. I think because it looked too cluttered, but after seeing all these tutorials, I was like, it looks better. Not only from the tablet view, but you can also see everything I'm doing, and it's real time because I think the way I was doing it before, it was not real time. Anyways, day 16. So I decided I wanted to keep the plan really simple. So just rough sketch, front angle, neutral position, and neutral expression, which is kind of like what Live 2D favors. It's just easier that way. And I wanted to keep the plan really simple because that yesterday evening, I want to say evening-ish, I was talking to my sibling, and I was basically venting to them about how I can't like keep my mind on track or actually do art because I keep making these huge detailed I mentioned I was like I keep making all these plans and never executing them. I'll make these huge detailed plans, but I never actually do it. And they were telling me how they watched a YouTube video about I think this is what they said. There's something they were watching a YouTube video, and something about making huge detailed plans is as cathartic and dopamine releasing as doing the plan or completing the plan. And I was like, yeah, I 100% agree with that. For my case, anyways. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep the plan really simple and just do it. And something I've been telling myself over and over and over, but it's really hard to break out of a mindset, especially when I just want to be lazy and procrastinate. But anyways, I do think it was somewhat, for the little time I did put in, I do think it was a productive day. So, or yesterday, that is. So I'll show you what I did, and I also want to make notes of some tips I learned, because I know it's going to leak out of my brain one day, and it also might help someone watching this. So I want to go over that as well. The first thing I wanted to figure out was, I mentioned it yesterday, where I was watching a kind of like a professional workflow of someone drawing a VTuber model from scratch. And it was really cool seeing it that way, because I've seen so many tutorials of, people, people making their own tutorials, but it was cool seeing it done like on the job, if that makes sense. So something I saw them using was this thing called the symmetry tool. Probably considered cheating, but like the way it is just, number one, it definitely speeds up the workflow. Number two, it makes it symmetric and professional looking and clean. And I mean, it just looks amazing. So it's like, I want to learn how to use the symmetry tool, because something about it, I did learn how to use it, spoiler alert, and I like it, and it definitely makes things so much easier, in terms of like just getting the sketch looking somewhat decent. So I think it's an amazing tool, and it's actually like making me not hate my work, if that makes sense. Like, I still think it doesn't look good, but like it looks good enough where I want to keep going. And if the symmetry tool is what keeps me in the game for the long run, where, while I'm taking the cheat now, but over time I actually do learn the correct way, like if that keeps me in the game, then I think it's perfectly fine to use. if in the long run it, keeps me drawing. So, symmetry tool. So to get there, there is the ruler over here, the ruler tool. So if you click that, it's on the very bottom of the subtools. Symmetry ruler. It's really easy to use. You just click and drag, and if you hold shift, it makes it like that was me accidentally letting go. If you hold shift, you can pick a precise angle. So usually I pick the 90 degrees, like up, down, left, or right. So let's just do up and down. And once you do that, if you switch back to the pen tool or any, drawing tool, whatever you draw on one side, it'll perfectly mimic on the other. It's beautiful, especially for symmetry. You can draw like hearts and stuff. Now, one thing I learned about this is that you can't really center it. Normally, you can't center it normally, but there's a way around it. I had to find through some random Reddit comment on a post. So I'll show you how to do that, because it's actually pretty simple. It is a little annoying to do, but you go to this tool over here with the cube with the pointer on it. Hopefully my mic is still picking me up because I'm a little past it. You click this tool, it's the operation tool, and you click on object, which is the first option in the subtools, and then you literally click on the ruler, and then down here in the tool property box, you can manually put in the X and Y axis coordinates. So Y axis is up and down, X is left and right. But because this is inverted, so X would actually change the up and down because it's centering it on the X axis, if that makes sense. So to find your center, you would do half of whatever your height is, or width, because you're centering it on the X axis. So it's width times height. So the first one's width. So we want it center on the width. So center is half of 2500 or 1250. Hit enter. So now the Y axis is centered on the X axis, which is the width. If that makes sense. Hopefully I'm wording that correctly for you. So then we want the X axis, which is this little line. If you just want to, you don't really have to do this, but if you just want it dead center, like bullseye, if you want the X axis to be centered on the Y, then you take half of the height, which is 1250. Hopefully I'm explaining that correctly and I'm not messing anything up, but I know mine are exactly the same, but I did check. It is width times height. So the first one is width, the second one is height. Because I think if you want to do like a full body model, you're definitely going to have a taller height for that project canvas. But that's how you center it and get a dead center. And then you could do some shortcuts to make this easier. Not the centering, but the ruler. So I have my ruler bound to V. So whenever I hit V, it binds to the ruler. The reason I did this is, one second, I have a document I can open. So I went through every single shortcut on the on Clip Studio, if you're using Clip Studio. And tools, I think, can only be put on like letters. Like you can't use like Shift V or something like that. And I checked all the shortcuts, and there are there's 7 letters that are not used anywhere, so they're free to use in shortcuts. It's Q, A, S, F, Z, V, and N. So I have this bound to V. I think I have the blur tool bound to something else as well. I have blur bound to N. Yeah, I have blur bound to N. So every time I hit V, it brings me straight to the symmetry ruler. Something else I did was, when you have a ruler placed, you can see down here, it adds this little box. And you would think to turn off the ruler, because say I'm on the pen tool and I'm like, hey, I want to go back to drawing asymmetrical, like without a ruler. And if you hit this check mark, it doesn't do anything. So I was like, how do you turn off the ruler? So the only way I found out how to do that is you right click it and you can delete it, or you can hit this show ruler. I don't know why it says show ruler B, because B is not a shortcut that turns it on and off. But if you do that, it'll turn it off. But if you hit B, like it tabs through these tools. So I don't know what the B is for, but it's really annoying to turn it on and off. However, you could shortcut that. So those are the two shortcuts I have: the symmetry ruler and the show ruler. So I'll show you where I did that. So in shortcut settings, if you go to tools, I'll show you the ruler first. Near the bottom, open up the ruler drop down box, and there's symmetry ruler. So I have mine bound to V. Oh, and if a shortcut is taken, it will warn you. So if you did want to just kind of like guesstimate a shortcut, it'll tell you, oh, this key is already bound. So I didn't really have to look at all the shortcuts ahead of time. I didn't know that, but it's something I did. And then in menu commands, it's under layer, I believe. Yes. So layer and then ruler frame, show ruler. So I have this bound to shift V because I have the ruler bound to V. I'm like, oh, I'll remember easier if I just make it shift V. And something I noticed going through all the shortcuts in Clip Studio is that while there's a lot of like control shift letter shortcuts, there's literally only like 2 shift shortcuts. So like shift F7 is to like invert a selected area, and then shift backspace and shift delete is to delete outside selection. Those are the only shift shortcuts. So if you can have like shift A, shift B, shift C, like the whole alphabet is not taken. So I have this to shift V. So like every shift command is not taken. And I haven't had any issues with that, like with the modifier key at all. So shift V works fine. You can just turn it on and off. So works perfect. So that's probably like 10 minutes of me just talking, and I haven't even shown you what I attempted to draw. So this will probably be the short part of the video. So let's just delete that ruler. Okay, so yeah, day 16. The reason I have these little arrows here is because I was trying to put like border rulers, because I saw in a video that no matter how big your model is, you need empty space in the actual canvas to have like say your model's like swaying your head left and right. You need to have that empty space in the file itself. So like you don't make that empty space in Live 2D. It has to already like exist in the PSD file. So I think these might be too small, but I was just kind of guessing. Oh, and to get these rulers, to plane rulers, if you hit Control R to bring up the rulers, you can just click and drag them. And then same thing if you want exact coordinates, you click on them with the operation object tool, and you can set them. So I have these set to like 250 in, 250 from the end, just to shave off 500 from in total from the X and Y. I was just fooling around, and then I had like a center X and Y, but these are a little messy because when you have the ruler and then you try and draw next to them, it'll like draw on the ruler, and it's really annoying. I think it'll be great for like niche situations, but like it's so annoying if you just want it there in the background. So I think the only way is to like have it on a different layer, So having it on the layer underneath and then drawing. Oh no, it doesn't work. Never mind. I don't know. That's something I don't know. Something I'm gonna have to figure out one day. Or maybe, oh, you know what you can probably do? You can probably draw the ruler, and on this layer you can fill in the line, then remove the rulers and have the drawn line, then reduce the opacity and have that as like a background image for another layer. That's probably another way to do it. It's not the easy way to do it, but that's definitely a shoehorn method. I'm ranting. So let's go to sketch attempt 1. Yeah, sketch attempt 1. So, oh yeah, this is a little alien looking. Because I was trying to, I didn't know what to do with the eyes. I still don't really know what to do with the eyes. So let's just like forget those. Oh, that looks even creepier. Let's forget they exist. Because what I was trying to do is I was trying to figure out a position for the seal. And then every sketch I would be like, oh, let's just throw something on the face, and then maybe I'll figure something out. Try after try. If you told me on day 1, which was a month and a half ago, if you told me on day 1 I'd be modeling a seal, I would not have believed you, but or designing a seal, I'd not have believed you. But I think that's why you should never plan too far ahead, because you never know where life will take you or what will happen. Because yeah, I never thought I'd be here. So this is sketch attempt number 1. Looks pretty bad. Especially, I think the eyes just make it look real uncanny. But this was done in a single take. I think the only Control Z I did was trying to do the flippers. Like, I don't think I undid anything here. Which, is believable because it doesn't look good. But when I tell you my terrible drawings in the past videos consisted of like 100 undos and erases, like, I'm not lying. So this was sketch attempt 1, and I noticed some things here, but what's sketch attempt 2? I don't even remember. Oh, this is me trying to draw more of like the body. Still, the eyes are a little off. And then I realized this isn't really front facing. It's kind of like he's, the seal is facing this way, but the head is facing this way. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. What's sketch attempt 3? Okay. This, I was like, yeah, this is straight up a cat. Because I was like, does it look better if the eyes are filled in? I was like, no, that's a cat. That's not even a seal. So then I tried drawing like a front face. Because I was like, oh, it'll face the camera. But then the issue I had is now it looks like the seal is balancing on the flippers. Like, if this is a surface, which I drew it after the fact, I was like, here it is, like, balancing on flippers, and their tail is just up. So then I did a couple more sketches. So here I tried to make it like flat against the surface. Wasn't exactly sure how to draw the tail. And it looks pretty squished here. But I do like that the shape overall is pretty realistic. Like, if you were to take a squishy like beanbag and put it on the ground, it would like squish like this, but not this flat, if that makes sense. It wouldn't be this small. So I think that was a problem. I think. But I do think it's a step in the right direction. Here I started messing a little bit more. I think the head it might be a little too big here. But it steps in the right direction. I think I might go with this kind of eye shape. Though it does kind of give off like a sad vibe. This was the last one I did. I think the flippers came out immaculate. I'm happiest with the flippers here. The body might be a tad too big. And the tail, the rest of the body might be a little too big as well. But this was like the last thing I did, so I was like, I'll make some notes for tomorrow. So I think the problem I have here is like up here, it's wider than down here. And if if he's like squished on the surface, it should be a little wider here. It looks okay, but I would want it to be a little more wider on the bottom instead of the top, because then the top can like ease into the head. And then the head, I'm not sure, because the head really is like, seals don't really have necks. They're just like a big worm. I don't I don't know how to describe it. Like they do have a neck, but you can't see it unless they like really like perch up. So yeah, maybe lower the head to blend more into the body. The eyes aren't bad. It's the right direction. I just don't really know how to go from here. I think that, this is the right direction, but this doesn't really look like a seal body. This still looks like a mermaid tail in a way. I don't know how to describe it. So I need to somehow make this look more of a body. But yeah, that was the last thing I was doing, because this was just me duplicating the layer so I can keep the center symmetry tool, so I didn't have to keep making the ruler over and over and over again. So yeah, that's it for yesterday. Maybe we'll get more progress today. But I got a couple things to do this morning. Not as much as yesterday. Mondays are just, Mondays. So I'm more motivated now because like the symmetry tool is just, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And it has me motivated because I can actually make, just having those, this symmetry is just good enough. Like that's all I need for my brain to be happy. But I'm still confused about where I'm going. But it looks like almost with every sketch, I'm getting a little closer and closer and closer. So it might take like, maybe like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, who knows how many more. But, this doesn't take too long to do. And I think if I just keep feeling it out, maybe I can get something that looks half decent. I don't know. I went through so many reference images trying to find a seal from a front angle. And I ended up just having to take like a plush one I have IRL and trying to like bend it and like bend it to the side to see like how the tail would look. And the tail doesn't really come up like this. Not on the plushes anyways, but I do want the tail to be visible and kind of like, flap up and down for some dynamic movement. I do have a lot of work to do. But man, these flippers. Dude, the flippers are great. I'm wondering if I should keep them kind of like in the back, like kind of behind this line, or if they should kind of like extend onto the body. That's one thing I'm not 100% sure of. Like, should the flipper start up here and you don't even see like a line? I don't know. It might be something I have to test. But yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry if these are getting really long, but so thanks for watching. I will see you maybe later, maybe tomorrow.